Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. Yoo-hoo, hey, party. Welcome back to the frivolity of my apologies starting a little late today. But I was told we can blame the IT department for that one. Anyway, today is Wednesday, the 11th of January. Dun, dun, dun. Not quite sure what 11th of January means, but interesting day in the markets. Chris, you having fun trading the opening range trade?
Yeah, it's an interesting experience, I'll say that.
It's challenging. But nonetheless, this is half of our battle when we are vetting setups, is you've got to go through and take every damn trade. And then after the dust settles, we'll go back, review the statistics, see whether this trade setup's actually even worth trading. Anyway, that's where we are, Chris and I. But anyway, it's fantastic working with Chris. The one thing I absolutely love about Chris is he's a consummate professional. And it's awesome getting that wake up call at like 4:30 in the morning. Well, I guess 4:45, not so bad. From Chris, he always has a sparkle to his voice. So I jump out of bed and go, all right, let's do this. So thank you very much for Chris for being in my life and being an awesome trading partner. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Speaking of much appreciated, Wednesdays and Fridays, we have special guests on the Daily Brief after party show. And we've got one of my favorite site members. I've loved this guy. He's been with TRI for a bunch of years, and he's another consummate professional. And just an absolute joy to work with. We have Stephen on the call today. Stephen, are you here?
I'm here.
There
Happy
he
to be
is.
here with you, Brian.
The man, the myth, the legend, the harmonican. I think I got to buy him a harmonica, and he should come on this show with however you do the harmonic. That was a terrible impression. Anyway, in fact, I got a harmonica around here somewhere. Maybe for the after show, I'll dig it up and play a couple of bars. Anyway, should be an exciting show, should be an exciting day. Lots to talk about, but first things first, we got to do our market summary. It's a good half hour or so. Just an overview of what the hell is going on, what we see in the market, and if there's anything really of significance that either I, myself, or maybe TRI or any of our special guests have done that stands out, we like to mention it. So where do we begin? Probably the very first thing that we should mention, I was asked by the marketing department to just remind everybody that we do have our, there you go. I'm not sure what, if somebody who's watching this on the YouTube channel, I'm constantly getting this with this particular, I use Brave. I even updated the Brave, so it should be working. But anyway, how ironic. Try to load up this join.therationalinvestor.com, and I get this weird thing. So the webpage actually wouldn't load earlier this morning. I don't know whether this is a problem. I don't think it's a problem with the computer. I think it's a problem with my router. Anyway, seeing that a bit, we'll let that, if anything, let's come back to that at the end of the show in a half an hour. Hopefully this silly thing will load. But anyway, just a reminder, Brian and his crazy computer issues. We do have new school term starting here shortly. And if you want, of course, learn more a little bit about what we do and some of the alumni and people who have actually taken the program, pop on this page. Hopefully for you, it acts a hell of a lot better than my silly interneting. I'm not quite sure why that's doing that. But anyway, probably a little unprofessional of me there. My apologies. Anyway. All right, I do see people chatting away in the lounge. A new gentleman to the site, Just Trying, actually has asked a question there. Maybe when someone who's sort of a site OG can help that person out while I'm chit-chatting away here. Would like to try and get this summary done on time. Anyway, first things first, I wanted to try and tell you that we have a school program coming up. That didn't work very well. Second thing, Usually we like to check in on the breadth indicator itself. What's it telling us? If anything, the message I had yesterday for everybody in the public, and I still have the same message, is I'm a little concerned at the distance between the fast moving average and the slow moving average here on our breadth algo. This, I think, needs to come in a bit, which might, imply maybe just like a sharp 1 or 2 day pullback kind of idea. So just be cognizant of that. And also, too, I do think that crypto actually acts as a very good leading indicator in this sort of risk space. And we actually had a bearish cross on the crypto universe breadth signal. And what I'm a little bit concerned about here is the crypto top 30 breadth is now very much overbought. We are still pointing bullishly, but all it's going to take is somebody to sneeze here, and this will cross back bearishly. And my little algo trade that I take just purely off of the algo signals, I'll have to close out. Good part about that is it looks like that position is in the money a bit. So not too concerned about getting punched in the nose there. Let's see if we can zoom in for you. So that's this image. Markets moved up nicely. Don't get me wrong. Wondering also too, and actually we have Stephen on the call today. So it'd be really interesting to get his take as to whether maybe potentially we have a harmonic working here. Something like a rally up into, I guess 88.6 would probably be something along those lines. Up into
Yeah, your measurements are 100% right there. But for me, the only issue is it's becoming too asymmetrical. It's too lopsided on the right-hand side.
All right, so there you go. I think I put out a tweet to that effect yesterday. And I think I even said that I kind of wanted to get a check-in from our harmonicans. So if anything, like I said in the after show, and you even heard him there, ready to go. He's all full of piss and vinegar. He'll be more than happy to speak to our audience a little bit more about that. This was the image that I put out on Twitter yesterday. I did find it interesting. I'm, through this, if it's one thing that I can take away from this whole sickness experience, and wow, has the world ever changed in the past 3 or 4 years, eh? But the one thing that I can take away is that we actually were given the gift of learning about chaos theory and how to sort of judge. Whoops, sounds like I either got stopped out or took profits on something. But it's interesting to see how this 88.6 level happened to line up a sort of sandwich between two chaos price objectives. Anyway, we'll see how that plays out. And like I said, in the after show, we'll have Stephen dig into this a little bit more in detail. So a little bit concerned that, we're probably, keep in mind too, we are playing with the January barometer issues. I don't know which page I have for that. Oh, yeah, I got stopped out on a little crude short that I had working there. January barometer, where is that image? Do I have that over here? Yeah, here we are. So market's still pointing up, stock market's still pointing up here. You can see Bitcoin, and here's some more of these Foggenbaum levels that I've been watching. I still think it looks like the stocks want to get up into this area up top here. And I still think Bitcoin wants to get up top here. But having said that, I will say that we're looking a little nosebleedy here. This is getting a little bit dangerous. All open air all over here. US dollar index is sort of like the anti-stock market. People run into the US dollar for sort of safety if the economy appears to be waning. Is that trying to turn back up? Well, only time will tell. Bond market, it looks to me like the bonds have kind of run out a bit of a steam here. And if they start cranking back down, that means higher interest rates, and that'll probably put the kibosh on things like stock market rallies. A little surprised to see the way the gold's been acting here. Basically came off smartly this morning. on what appears to be a half decent bottom working in the energy market. And what's fascinating about this is, and maybe we had a big dump here because people knew that the inventories were building substantially, but probably, and there wasn't a heck of a lot of news that actually came out here in the market today. Where is my news window? There it is over there. But one thing that jumped out at me appreciably, whoops, I gotta be careful I don't minimize these windows. One thing that jumped out at me appreciably here today on the economics wasn't a heck of a lot of, oh, actually I already had it here, darn. I'll put that back. Wasn't a heck of a lot of new information out today, but we had EIA crude inventories. And this is, in my career, this got to be one of the biggest builds in crude oil inventories we've seen, especially considering that the consensus was actually for a drawdown. So I'm not quite sure what the heck happened here. This is quite staggering. Even gasoline inventories just went racing up here. And, this is what kills you about trading. Theoretically, this should be fundamentally bearish of price. More inventories means more supply in the pipelines, or no pun intended. More theoretically, if there's greater supply, then it must mean that there's the demand for actual crude is less. And if you have greater supply and weaker demand, theoretically that should be bearish of price. And you can see this has actually made quite a pretty little double bottom here. Huge breakout. They even say surged by 18.9 million barrels. And what was interesting was last night, the private sector number came out. Actually, I can't show you that. It was yesterday. The API, American Petroleum Institute, and it showed a massive build. And so it's just going to be interesting to see whether the government data would actually validate that. This is just the most hugest, ridiculous build ever. If you look at it on sort of like a longer term perspective, we're right up here at sort of, like that's when they shut down the economy there around the sickness beginning. We had another big build. I think this is when, I don't know whether it was. No, I don't know I can't remember the context of this build. But you can see, up in this area, we don't usually get these kind of inventory builds. So it just goes to show, what's going to end up happening here. The Fed has raised interest rates at an absolutely horrifically horrendous pace. Historically, I can't remember the last time ever seeing interest rates rise this dramatically, this quickly. This should literally kill the economy. And of course, who yesterday was saying in prepared speeches, so it's basically already predetermined, and he's been saying this for quite some time, that his full intention is to make your lives, each and every one of us, including myself, much more uncomfortable, and trying to bring this inflation genie, put it back in the bottle. So let's see whether this is loaded again. Are you going to load? Come on, you. Oh, well, how frustrating. Anyway, I'll keep coming back to that to see whether it loads so I can show you that page. So that was the big econ out this morning. We did have some mortgage applications. I didn't see anything startling. That's about the only news, but how ironic. And it was interesting. My day trading partner here, Chris, he had actually pointed out that there was a naked POC up top here. And I took a shot off of this fractal fail of that, but you notice that this naked POC here, that's actually probably the level. So anyway, I took a quick little shot off the top. Didn't risk a heck of a lot on this, but nonetheless got stopped out there. I might take another shot later on in the day. We'll see what the momentum looks like. let's see. So we talked a little bit. Well, I mean, I suppose what the heck's going on in the world news-wise. Was interesting to see. Now, I don't think it's related, but there was quite a. I guess we'll find out whether it was cyber attacks and all those kind of things down the road. But there was a bit of a problem with the with one of the FAA's sort of safety protocols down in the States. So a lot of airplanes, airlines and stuff were grounded today, more than 4,000 flights delayed. I think that's probably the biggest sort of news here in North America today. I don't even know that that's even really market moving, but nonetheless, Southwest Airlines, of course, recently had some challenges. So the airline industry, I suppose, is going to be a bit under pressure. China reopening. So I guess, and we had our stock pickers club last night. There were a number of Chinese stocks that looked interesting. The only problem is I've learned so many times over the years, I just simply can't trust China, and you can't trust Chinese companies. So I don't really like to buy them. I mean, I suppose if you are going to play this kind of market, try and do it like through the ADRs, at least something that's listed here in North America or Europe for that matter, and you have some sort of legal recourse. So just be careful with investing in China. But interesting how there are some countries like Japan and South Korea and stuff who are actually kind of putting restrictions on Chinese tourists and travelers and stuff. And of course, the Chinese government, they absolutely hate anybody who doesn't, China #1 bullshit, that stuff, Winnie the Pooh. So you actually see a little bit of retribution. And I do find it interesting, if these Western nations were really serious about all this COVID nonsense, then they would just say, look, at every single traveler from China, in or out, you must be quarantined and you must prove that you're not sick. Because if I understand correctly, about half of the billion people over there now officially have COVID. And who knows if we're ever probably won't find out for 10, 15 years, actually, how many people have actually died over there. But I bet the number is just going to be absolutely horrific. How ironic and sort of very typical Western sort of capitalist nature. The only thing that people like the Wall Street Journal are concerned about is, hey, China reopening is going to come at the nick of time to save luxury stocks. That's the sad part about capitalists. They're so bloody greedy. That's the only thing they care about. Until, of course, you have people dropping over here in North America, and then all of a sudden, oh, I guess it's real. And my hunch is that's exactly what our fate is going to be over the next month or two. So get ready for it. If anything, our whole sort of January barometer kind of thinking kind of validates that kind of thinking, I suppose. Is interesting to see. And this is, I think, a little bit more fluff than anything else, but the Republicans won the U.S. House of Representatives, this last election. And so they're going to actually put forth a bill to ban the IRS. Now, obviously, Democrats and the President of the United States are still Democrat. The Senate is still Democrat and the President. And so I think the bill lands flat on its face. But it is an interesting anecdote of how contentious this whole IRS issue. And the right wing now down in the States is saying things like, we need an 80,000 border agents to try and deal with this crazy border down in the States or down in the South with Mexico versus more IRS agents. So interesting political football there. Did find it interesting too. The left wing, of course, totally took a dump on Mr. Trump about having classified documents at his place down in there in Florida, and mysteriously, Mr. Biden now, it's been found out that he has classified files at his various office locations, and now it's like, Oh, well, that's just an accident. No big deal. Don't worry about it. Hey, we're all buds, right? And then he starts handshaking with ghosts. So this will be interesting to see, and it'll be a great tell on sort of how this sort of left-leaning media machine interprets Mr. Biden, because technically he should be in just as much trouble as Mr. Trump. But my hunch is that's probably not how it's going to play out. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Other than that, not really seeing too many sort of econs. Fascinating, I will say that, we had that massive build in oil inventories. I'm sure they're going to somehow explain this away. And yet the oil price keeps moving higher. Fascinating. Something just doesn't smell right about all this. But as you can see, a new double top's coming in. I'm almost tempted to hit that thing again, but maybe I'll do it when Steven's talking to you. If I miss that trade completely, then oh well, it's gone. As for market, we did talk a little bit about Bitcoin there. As I said, I'm a little bit concerned that the dashboard and the crypto market itself is looking very toppy. I wouldn't be surprised if I get escorted out of this trade here. If we get any kind of rollover in that crypto top 30 breadth indicator, then I'll just simply exit this trade. And I got in on this trade down here. So maybe I'll make a couple bucks. Better than a kick in the pants. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, I don't think there's really anything other futures oriented. What time is it? We're getting on there. I guess a good half-hour summary. Did have a nice conversation with the stock traders of our community. Where's the best place to show you this? Last night, we had really fun meeting, seeing a lot of stocks that look like this. I don't know whether long-term we're into new bull markets just yet. If you look at the weekly chart, there's no sort of like big honking weekly W's. It's nice to see we got a bit of a bull div. This was one of the names mentioned last night. And of course, our little, lower time frame slick traders, they buy this kind of W and ride that way, but then you better make damn sure you take some profits, because you can see roll over and boom, we go to new lows. So anyway, this is a name that jumped out, and actually one of our site vets actually was very interested in an options trade in here. So we'll see whether he gets filled on that. There are other names that are putting in bottoms. I think this one actually was like a weekly Q reversal. I always love those weekly Q reversals. Yeah, there it is down there. Well, I don't know whether that's a Q reversal or not. Anyway, interesting double bottom, you can see. And actually this one's set up for you. So, do your own due diligence. Raphael Holdings, no idea what the hell they do. But you can see momentum. If anything, we love. This is a really good tutorial on good old Stuart likes using this Bollinger Band study on RSI to try and illustrate this is sort of chaos in the market when it's this wide. When you see the Bollinger Bands tighten up like this, it means that like sort of price is compressing, energy is building, and get ready, something's about to happen here. So really cool illustration of that. I wanted to point that out to you guys. And of course, for all those RSI fans, I'm a big fan of, and actually probably that W down there stops the bear slide. We would ideally like to see, I don't really like to take this first W as a trade, but this second W sure looks sexy. So there's a nice little breakout. Then you're getting another W. This would be like a third W. So yeah, probably not a good idea to chase, but higher highs and higher lows. And interesting to see how RSI has basically confirmed the breakout on this Bollinger Band study. So very good looking short-term uppy picture. Is a little bit late to come in on this thing on the short term? Probably. Man, we'll probably want to let this thing settle down a little bit, but nice to see. This high here will basically confirm this massive bottom. There is actually, I think, the outside upside reversal bar that sort of marked the lows. So there's also another, that actually looks like a valid key reversal. So you can see there's a big battle here, and you tell me, has this thing got any room to move back? Like I said, I don't do the due diligence yourself on this stock. I'm certainly not touting it, but it was a name that our crew last night, when we reviewed it, a lot of people went, that looks very interesting. So if you do trade stocks, and this is sort of like, this is actually a really good example, buy when it snows. I mean, I guess it didn't really work too well last year. But seasonally, yeah, there was buy when it snows last year. So not really much there. But this is not a bad example because they're just seeing all these W's and this uppy price action. Now we're actually getting, it looks like nice big fat W's in MACD. RSI is looking a little bit runaway-ish here in the short term. But again, big W's. This could be a very good example of a buy when it snows, sell when it goes up here. $3-4, and it's just a very typical seasonal trade for us. Anyway, something that we were chewing on last night. Then also too, here's another one, Stellantis. Not quite sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I always like these kind of trades because hopefully you can see very wide inverted head and shoulders bottom, maybe probably more like an Adam and Eve. And then, fairly steep downtrend lines right off this recent top. So we've clearly broken that. We're out into open air here. And probably a good shot to take a shot up top here. So, that's a good 25-30% shot up. Our options guys, of course, they like those kind of moves. Options traders, you can make some pretty good money with that. Recent ideas that we had. This is an interesting one. Mirage, our special guest. Guess he was on the show last week. Was it last week he was on the show, Chris? All right. He had pointed this out as a relative rotation name. Beautiful looking chart. Looks like he's working his way higher here. Now climbing the wall of worry. So nice trade there. Then David O. David O, of course, just an awesome stock picker. He had pointed this name out last week, I guess last meeting. And just rocking and rolling here. So great to see the teams firing on all cylinders. And if anything, this is a good example because I would have said something to you guys like last week, like right here. And you can see what these silly names of David's do here in the short term. Just huge booming bull market. So way to go, David. You are awesome. And actually a really cool application of Feigenbaum and chaos theory. What do you think the odds are that we're going to go and tag 2.618 here as a price objective? I'd say probably pretty good. And that's exactly what happened here. And actually, this is a great analogy of using Tom DeMark with chaos theory to try and help you understand upside price action. And I think that makes common sense. My hunch is this is probably like a Collins dump chaser zone. So something along those lines. And where's Colin? There he is. Oh yeah, what a surprise. I always use this 38.2. I call it my first stop target. So heading into that 38.2 to 50% target window. Feigenbaum's, big fat W's. What a big surprise. David making money like a badass. Way to go, David. All right, 9:35. Geez, I guess that's your market summary for today. Don't be surprised, peeps, if you actually do see the market, the crypto market come down here a little bit. I noticed Uni spitting out an inside bar reversal there. Suppose also too the bottomy and very uppy price action in crude oil doesn't help technology, and crypto of course is very technology. Notice things like sushi kind of running out of steam here as well. And as I had said there earlier, Bitcoin hasn't broken down here, but on the lower time frame charts, you can see we're getting a little toppy action in here. And if we need to pull back here and maybe consolidate this, that's been a pretty big move up. So if we need to consolidate this a bit here, let this, because I don't like the look of this this algo up here. This looks a little bothersome. If anything, crypto market kind of needs to take a bit of a pause and clean up here a bit. So just be forewarned about that. All right, I think we'll leave the summary at that for today. PMA for the win. Be sure to check out Steven's presentation. Let's see, are we going to get lucky here? Yay, we got lucky. Brian and his crazy internet. Somebody in the lounge here goes, when they admitted him in, all he would yell out is, it's DNS. It's always DNS. All right. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. So anyway, point of the matter here is we do have our education program starting shortly here. You want to learn a little bit about what we do and how we affect people's lives, please feel free to pop on over and review the school page, join.therationalinvestor.com. And if you're interested, please feel free to join us. All right, Chris, is there anything I missed here that I was supposed to say here today? Oh, did we lose Chris? Maybe
Nope, Chris is still here. Sorry about that. I think
There he
we've
is.
touched all subjects here. So
All right,
great job.
so slow and steady wins the race. PMA for the win. Don't take no wooden nickels. Other than that, oh, actually, we have our crypto show tonight. So if you want to pop on and hang out with Paul and Ben and myself, talk a little crypto, we usually start that show up around 6 o'clock Pacific time. Of course, poor old Paul, that's basically the middle of the night for him. But what a soldier. He loves to come in and help us get sort of a better feel for what we're seeing in crypto land. So that is this show, Crypto Top 100 Review. So be sure to check that out. We'll be talking lots of crypto here tonight with the crew. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best. The only thing left for Brian to say is bye for now.